sometimes you got to focus on your day twos. The day twos are the ones that you meet while you're on that like trajectory. So like you meet them at that point where you're like coming up too. So they're kind of on that same like wavelength as you know?
Welcome everybody to Off the Record. Today we sit down with all-around good dude, awakened soul, platinum singer-songwriter Jeff Bernat, checking in on his Asian tour, his music, present epiphanies, and his newfound journey in sobriety. How all of this comes together in this world, in his music, and the future that he envisions. So with this, let's dig a bit deeper and get to know Jeff Bernat.
My brother.
Jeff.
Thank you for having me, man.
Full circle.
Yes, sir.
Full circle. You know?
Yes, sir.
I'm very grateful that you're here. I'm very grateful that your friends and your band are here, you know, and those close to you. You know, thank you for taking the time to introducing me to everyone. It's
bro.
It's you know, we talked about it earlier how it is full circle, right? We met at the beginning of this tour, this Asian tour, and here we are at the end of it.
Yep.
And so, yeah, Alpha and Omega.
No, for sure. And I really think that it was meant to happen that way, you know? Staying at your hotel, meeting you, finding out what you did, having my Singapore show canceled.
Yeah.
And then you kind of just like aligning everything out here for us. It was meant to be this way. Because if that didn't happen, I wouldn't be doing this interview with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd be busy like prepping for the show and stuff. So I'm happy it happened this way, man.
Yeah, likewise. So how's it been? I mean, we met for the first time a few weeks ago, and it was really quick. I mean, it was KL.
Yeah.
You guys jumped in. I remember you guys just getting in from LA. Everybody was feeling a little bit buzzed, a little bit tired.
Yeah.
And talk to me a little bit about what the last few weeks have meant for you and you know, your team and for just coming back to Asia.
Well, this is my first Asia tour, official Asia tour. I've always just done one-off cities, you know, here and there. Like we'll go to Bangkok and do a show. Then like later on we'll go to Korea or do something, you know. But this is my first Asia tour. And it's been tiring, very tiring. We're in like a city for like 2 days and we're off to the next one.
Yeah.
So you really learn how to balance out like exploring and getting your rest, you know? Because I don't know, you know how it is when you're traveling. You want to see the city. You want to go like explore. Yeah. But then sometimes, man, your energy gets drained very quickly on tour, you know? So I think it's a big learning experience for me, prepping for when I do it again. Now I know, take advantage of all the sleep that you can get. So, you know, it is really exhausting, but man, this is the life of a touring artist, you know. This is like what I dreamed to do. So I'm very blessed, man, very thankful. I don't take it for granted. And I know there's so many people out there that would, you know, dream to be in this situation. So I'm grateful, man. The tour's been amazing.
Yeah. What are, you know, could you share maybe some of the highlights of, since this is the first Asian tour, you know, you went to Malaysia, you went to KL, you went to Tokyo, went to Shanghai. Yeah. You know, maybe share a little bit of, you know, what were kind of the highlights of this tour?
Yeah, man. It was like very, you know, like up and down in a good way. Like KL was a great like warm-up show, you know. It was 200 people in like a big room, which felt kind of weird. But the crowd was great, very good energy, and it was a good warm-up show for us. And then the next city we went to was Indonesia, Jakarta, and it was like 1,000 people, and it just got crazy. And then after that we went to Seoul. And it was just like, all the crowds are different. The Seoul was like a little more reserved, but there was a good amount of people. They're just like quiet, you know, no one's really screaming and stuff. Every city's been cool, man. I think my highlights and like my memories that I actually will remember is just the little things that you do outside of the show. Like in Taipei, we were in the green room learning the electric slide, you know?
Yeah.
It's like the little memories that you make with your homies, you know? That's like the core memories. Because yeah, shows are amazing. Like you're always gonna like remember the shows, but like remembering each city for little things, like going to Taipei and eating like Michelin star baos, you know, or like coming to Singapore and trying the sugarcane juice, you know. And then you just showing us all these places, and then remembering homegirl pulled up with her luggage and was like, oh my god, what's the plan? I'm hot.
I'm dying
right now. There's little things like that. Well, yeah, man.
Whose idea was the electric slide? That sounds something like Jaybird would do. I feel like
it was Paul's idea. It was Paul's idea because he was the only one that knew it. But then when he found out I didn't know it and the rest of the band didn't know it, he was like, oh my god, how do you guys not know this? And he tried to show us, but we tried to confirm if he was doing it right, so we went on YouTube. I feel like Filipinos, it's like a big thing to know, like, because Filipinos love the electric slide, and people are shocked that I'm like 34 and I don't even know it. But then like the rest of the homies didn't know it, so we finally learned it, and we can't stop doing it. Every time like music's on, we just try to do the electric slide.
Were you guys doing it in the shows itself?
No.
Just off camera.
Yeah, just off camera, like after parties and stuff. Yeah.
So this whole tour, I mean, seeing that you guys were kind of moving quite quickly, right? You got a chance to stay in different places, different cultures. What's kind of a ritual that you have when you're in a hotel? I mean, you know, we were honored enough to have you guys staying at our hotel in KL. You know, how is that? And like, you know, what are rituals that you really try to make home of the place that you're in, even if it's for 48 hours or, 60 hours?
I think definitely having that alone time in your room to just kind of zen out, you know, to just like, especially before the show, like the couple hours leading to it, it's just like, okay, I gotta get in a zone. I gotta like take the time to like meditate and really lock in for this show. Especially before the show, we all take, as a collective, we all take time 45 minutes before the show to just kind of sit down and meditate and listen to like,
that's beautiful.
432 hertz music, you know, just to like have a certain frequency leading up to the show.
Yeah.
That like we just kind of set our intentions, we say a prayer, like we make sure that we're going into the show with gratitude, so that like we're performing with gratitude, you know. Because for me, I feel like performing is more than just like doing my songs. It's actually a way I feel like God uses me to connect to people that need to hear me, like and like need to hear what I need to say to them, you know. So like when I am performing, I fully need to be open to what like the universe and God needs to use me to be in that very moment. So that's like, it's a spiritual journey, I feel, to during my whole like process up until the show.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's beautiful. I mean, how then would you say that you yourself tune into that, you know, on a nightly basis, or when you're about to perform? And then when you are tuning into that, how does that actually change through different cities or different shows? Or does it change? Or is it always the same, you know, this similar sermon, right? Or the similar message?
I think there's definitely a similar way that we kind of do it, but every situation's different. Like in Korea, it was kind of frantic because a lot of people were in the green room, so we couldn't really like get in that zone. But we know like when it's time to like lock in and stuff. But I think first and foremost, you have to have a group that's willing to be open to that, you know. That's kind of my approach and how I want to be before the show, because like a lot of artists, man, it's different for everyone. Their rituals, taking shots before a show, you know, or partying, like, or having just a bunch of people to be back there with them. But I like to like, you know, I like to focus on, okay, use me for the show. Like, what do I need to say tonight? Because I say something different every night, you know. There's not like a one thing that I need to say. It's like, no, talk through me, you know, use me in whatever way this person that is struggling tonight needs me in, you know. So yeah, man, it's very, very spiritual for me.
That's beautiful. I mean, how were you able to kind of come into that alignment with the rest of your members, right? Your band members. And I know that there's some band members that you've been with a lot longer, just from hearing your story.
Yeah.
But then how do you find the rest of, you know, those pieces to have that buy-in, to have that same kind of core of value?
Yeah.
or even, to want to handle themselves in that manner.
Yeah, it's funny because I really feel like I would meet the band and everyone's already kind of on that wavelength. Like, oh, you meditate too, So we're all on that same page. Yeah, that's really important to have everyone be, on that same like frequency as you.
Yeah, like you mentioned, I mean, it attracts, right? You're attracted to it. It actually, that is the universe. It will bring
for sure
to you people. I would say even this moment.
Oh, for sure, definitely.
It's all. There are no coincidences.
Yeah,
or few in life, right?
Yeah.
How does that then? Let's talk about the personal Jeff, right? I know that you've been going through a journey. At least, you shared something with me in KL, which really caught my attention. Which, just 15 minutes into speaking, we started speaking about not only meditation but sobriety.
Yeah,
kind of, your heightened awareness for certain things, and that really drew me in. And so, aside from the music, the way that you're touching people through the music, what work are you doing, in the back that nobody sees? That is that deep work that is difficult at times. That's actually manifesting in this person who you are today, right now.
Yeah. I didn't start getting into this maybe until my 30s, but like once I started discovering just like how important the work you put into like mind, body, and spirit is, and how like it all has to be equal in order for things to just like flow. Because like there'd be times I'd be putting in work like physically and that's it,
Yeah.
Like, oh, I feel good, I look good, but then like I'll still like have some mental like issues or spiritual like blockages. But then I started like putting work into everything. I started meditating, I started praying more, I started surrounding myself with people that just aren't about the party life, because I used to be the biggest partier. I spent a lot of my 20s just partying, spending my money on like bottles every weekend and drinking. Like I was a heavy drinker, and I always make mistakes when I drink. I always make like stupid decisions because there's no chill for me. Like I can't like, there's no like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna have a glass or two tonight. It's like, ooh, I'm feeling good, let me chase this. Let me like, I want to feel even better, and then I start to feel loose and I start to make bad decisions, and then I wake up with a bad hangover. I don't have the energy to get to work out or eat clean. And it got to the point where I was just like, okay, do I want to level up in my life now? Because I've been doing this, but like what? I felt like I was just listening to what the universe had to tell me, and I feel like I was being told, like God was telling me, I have this for you. Like I have your dreams and desires waiting for you. What are you willing to do to get this?
When did that happen? Like when do you?
I'd say 2022 was a rough year for me. I started going down like a bad spiral. Like my dog died out of nowhere right before I went on tour. I was a heavy drinker. And then...
So was there like a bottom? Was there something that actually triggered it?
Yeah, I'd say it's just like, I felt like I just knew. I felt like I was just spending too much money on things that like I didn't need, And then I met someone in my life that like helped me become a better person. She kind of introduced me to this whole side of being spiritual. I felt like once I tapped into that, everything started flowing. Like, I feel like my soul was telling me like, oh, we don't need this alcohol right now. What you need is like breath work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a whole different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And once I started doing that, like it just opened up more things for me, and I felt like things started connecting more, because I was always talking about like I need to get signed to an agency. I need to like be able to do these tours, because before this I was just doing my own. I had to go out of my way to book shows. I didn't have a manager. I didn't have a booking agent. And I was like, oh, what is it gonna take? What is it gonna take for a booking agency to believe in me? I was waiting like years for that to happen. The moment I decided to change everything, got hit up by a booking agency.
Yeah,
It's amazing how things like work.
that's awesome.
Yeah. So now I'm a firm believer. Like, once you really start putting in the work within yourself,
Yeah.
mentally, spiritually, and physically, oh my gosh, that's when things just start aligning.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So
It's really tough for a lot of people, right? Because taking that initial step of sacrifice,
yeah.
which means cutting out a lot of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because stopping the partying means cutting out a certain group of friends potentially, right? Because
And I did have to do that.
You can't roam in the same
Yeah.
circles, right?
Mm-hmm.
It means, cutting out things that you've already somewhat ingrained in yourself.
Yeah.
That almost is second nature to you, right? And so it's then re-engineering yourself and starting to change a lot of habits, which is not an easy thing. And I think unfortunately for a lot of us, we fall short because it's tough work.
Yeah.
So congratulations on just the
Thank
work,
you, man. Thank you.
It's still a process, right?
Thank you. Yeah. And I feel like I've been surrounding myself by like more people that are on that same wavelength, and it's surprising like how you meet them too. Like, I'll be at my gym and I'll like always see familiar faces, and I finally like talk to them and I hear about their journey, and they're like on a sobriety journey as well. And I remember like this one conversation I had with one of these guys at my gym. He was just like, yeah, sometimes you have to cut off your day ones, because the day ones you feel like you're obligated to bring along like your loyalty, because they've been there from the beginning. But sometimes they're not on the same like frequency as you. Sometimes you got to focus on your day twos. The day twos are the ones that you meet while you're on that like trajectory.
Yeah.
So like you meet them at that point where you're like coming up too.
Yeah, like
so they're kind of on that same like wavelength as you, And I didn't look at it that way.
Or even focusing on those who you haven't even met yet.
Yeah, for sure.
And
Yeah.
you're just kind of preparing yourself, to meet those people. You're putting yourself in the right context, like you said, physically, spiritually, mentally, to be prepared for when those people do come into your life.
Yep. I don't know. I feel like when I first had my conversation with you, when we were sitting down, when I first went to your hotel,
Hey, like this,
I got to, yeah.
Javier?
No, but I'm so inspired by people that are not just successful with like businesses, but successful with just their spirituality as well.
Thank you. It's a work in progress.
Like, I knew you were a certain type of person when you put flotation pods in your hotel.
You guys never use.
I know, we didn't get to use it. Yeah, man, I feel like that's just what I've been focusing on more now, is just what's next.
Yeah.
I
guess, I want to touch on what is next, not only for yourself, personally, but also professionally. But just, one thing, you talk about, you were guided into getting to embrace and know your spirituality in a different way. And, as somebody from the Caribbean, as, Filipino American, I'm sure also you had a moment of, I was raised in a Catholic home.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Same.
And so what does that mean to you today? What does your spirituality mean to you today? And how is that constructed?
I mean, I grew up in a Catholic background. Yeah. Filipinos, it's a lot of Catholicism, which I'm grateful for that I was raised on that. But then I think when I got to my mid-20s, later 20s, I started discovering like my faith on my own, and I started going to like Christian church more. Yeah. Nothing wrong like with people that are Catholic or any religion or any belief. I truly believe God made all religions so that we can like coexist, But I think that I use the things that I learned from Catholicism and Christianity, and I definitely incorporate it in my life, just knowing that there's a higher power above me, and things can be given to you and things can be taken away from you. And I just always live with that fear of knowing like things are bigger than me, so yeah. And I believe in forgiveness. I believe in loving your neighbor. I believe in just being someone that just kind of reflects love. I talk about it in my music. I'd say I have a lot of Christian values in me.
Yeah. Can you walk me through that? Like maybe just share, one or two values that are really essential to who you are, or that you believe in, or that you also look in when you're surrounding yourself with people that, you know, you admire these kind of values or qualities?
Yeah. Well, first, you know, I don't judge someone if they're not Christian, or if they're not like, if they don't believe in what I believe. Like, because I've met people that are some of the kindest people that are Muslim, or that are Buddhists, or even atheists, you know, but they have like the best hearts, you know, and like, I don't want to be that Christian that's just like, oh my gosh, you're going to hell because you don't believe in these, you know. That's what God's there to decide, you know. That's only up to God to decide.
How would you label that? I mean, would you label that as compassion?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, you know, I consider myself also Christian faith. But for example, right now I'm practicing Ramadan.
Okay,
So I'm just fasting just to kind of see what it's like. But I said to myself at the beginning of the year, like, I just want to kind of do Ramadan one year. So I'm going through that journey right now, right?
Yeah.
And so, you know, I can also, you know, agree with you and stand with you that non-judgmental kind of, you know, is first and foremost.
Oh, for sure.
Just leading with love.
Yeah.
What would be a kind of a second kind of characteristic or value that you really look out for?
Being Christian,
or in general, right? In your spiritual journey.
That's a tough question, man. Help me out. What about you?
You know, in this season, like, for myself, I think that even though we speak about it a lot, but integrity is a big thing, right? I asked my 7-year-old not long ago, I was like, hey, what does integrity mean to you? And she gave me like just a straight up answer that just blew me away, right? And she's like, oh, Papa, you know, integrity is doing the right thing when nobody's looking.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And so that coming from a 7-year-old was quite powerful for me, even though it's my daughter. And from that day, it's really, you know, kind of resonated with me. And so everything that I'm doing, it could be something silly.
Yeah.
Right? It could be something like, I know I shouldn't be, you know, eating. Like the other day I was just going crazy on some chocolate, right? And so, but it wasn't good chocolate. It wasn't like I was eating dark chocolate. It was like some milk chocolate with biscuits. It was just wrong. Yeah. And I didn't need the fourth one, right? Yeah. And then this little voice was like, you shouldn't be doing that. You know, you shouldn't be eating this chocolate, even though that's a silly, a really a silly description. But just that voice, listening to that voice of knowing when you should turn something on, when you should turn something off, being in tune, whether you call that, you know, your spirit speaking to you, you know, just being in tune of knowing when to do something. It doesn't necessarily need to be when something is right or wrong, but also, you know, being led by these moments, right? You mentioned you and your team are led by, okay, what are we supposed to do today? Yeah. How do we best project the best version of ourselves, right? Collectively, individually. Yeah. So I think, like, you know, personal integrity is something for me. Yeah. You know, we talk a lot about honesty and all of these things, but I think authenticity is big for me. Oh yeah. You know, I think that authenticity more and more is currency nowadays, because you don't know, you know, I know you guys living out in California, it's a lot different, right? But you know, sometimes, unfortunately, we don't know who to believe, what to believe, right? So I think, you know, trying to be as authentic as possible, trying to be as real as possible is a big one for me. Oh, for sure. I think, I totally agree with everything that you said. And it makes me think about, you know, eating that chocolate. Like, there's times where you have to allow yourself to do that. Yeah. And be kind to yourself and know, like, okay, like, I'm going to be gentle with myself. Like, if I decide to do this, it's not like I'm doing this all the time. You know, you gotta have moments like you
you gotta enjoy. Yeah, you gotta indulge. That's one thing I think that I've learned about myself on this journey is being kind to myself. You know, like it's so important, because sometimes you could just like beat yourself up with these thoughts and like this negativity, but like I feel like your body will always catch up to what your mind wants to do. You just have to be patient and allow it to like catch up, you know? Because I remember when I started like my fitness journey, I was just like, oh, I gotta like starve myself, like I gotta do this, like, and I was like, oh, I'm not being kind to myself, you know? Like, you have to really be kind to yourself.
Yeah, you're not setting yourself up for like longevity or success.
Yeah. And also, bro, like chocolate can be delicious. It is delicious, I mean, you know?
That was probably not the best example. It was just a moment of like when you're by yourself, knowing when to pump the brakes.
Oh yeah.
Or when or when to hit the gas, right? And
takes like that discipline for sure.
Well, it is discipline. I mean, the foundation of most great things, or if not all, is discipline, right? And so
it's so important. That's one of the most important things that like, and I think it's something that you'll never stop learning, like practicing, you know?
And you shouldn't.
Yeah. It's discipline is really everything. I've had to discipline myself on drinking this tour. Yeah. You know?
How's that been?
To be honest, I feel like I've built that muscle to be able to do it. That's you know, like we went to a club in Shanghai, comped tables, comped bottles. All the homies were having fun, and that's, to me, that's like the fun for me now. Is like, oh, everybody's enjoying. Like seeing the smiles on like everyone's faces. Me, I know my body, I know myself now. If I have this drink, I'm gonna be feeling like trash on the plane tomorrow, you know? Like, and I don't like that feeling, you know? I wanna be able to like feel 100%, but nothing against people that drink or like do that. It's just, I'm at a point in my life now where like my energy is so important. Like I need it all, you know?
That's interesting. Like, how is that impacting the music? You know, because we draw from what we're living in, right? I would assume that, you know, you as a musician, as somebody who's kind of creating the narratives, right? How now your way of life or your lifestyle, how is that having an impact on the music? And is it having a greater impact in your eyes? Or
it's having a greater impact.
Even in the way you're writing? And
I think so.
And expressing?
I'm more clear. I'm more open to like the experiences that like life needs to like throw at me, you know?
Yeah.
Like I'm more like aware, like, okay, like my eye is opened. Like my third eye is so open right now, you know? Like I know when I'm being taught a lesson and when I need to go in the studio and talk about it, you know? Before I was so half-assed with everything, man. And I think a lot of the reason why I was like that is because I had all these blockages, like alcohol, all these things, like a distraction, like women, you know, things that like this career can give you.
Yeah.
LA can give you.
Yeah.
You know? But like, that's where discipline comes in, you know?
But I mean, would you say that those things at that season, those things were also inspiring the music?
Oh, for sure. I think everything is...
It's like anything, right? You talk about being in a club or doing this or doing that.
Yeah.
But if you extract yourself from that lifestyle, you know, how then is that impacted? I mean, I guess, you know, just from my knowledge, because then it feels so wholesome.
Yeah. Well,
right.
I think this is a lesson for me is during that time when I was being that way, I was like single Jeff. I was like, you know, just partying, like, but you weren't able to find like love, you know what I mean? And love is like a powerful thing when you feel it. And the things that you're able to write about when like you're feeling love, I mean, you know how love songs are. Like, you have to be in a mindset to do that. I wasn't in the mindset to write love songs. That's why it took me a really long time to make music again, because I was just on this like party phase, like having fun phase. But like, I'm not really gonna write about that. I've never really been a writer like that. I'll write heartbreak songs, but like I wasn't heartbroken. I was just partying now, you know? And I'm not that type of artist to write about like, oh, I'm spending money in the club. Like, nah. I needed to find love again, and you know, and talk about that. So I think there's everything is an advantage when you're living it. Like if I'm not partying and stuff, I'm experiencing love. So it's like I could write about that, you know. So yeah, everything I think works out for sure.
Yeah. So what does that look like now? I mean, now that you're done with the Asia tour, you know, you're going back.
We have like a month and a half to chill.
Yeah.
And we go on a 2-month North America tour.
Wow.
Yeah. 21 cities. Yeah, month and a half tour. Yeah, it'll be fun. I think the energy in America or North America is a different energy as well.
100%.
Yeah, like the Asians, Filipinos kind of ride harder over there, like where it's like everyone just screaming your lyrics and just like partying, like, you know.
Yeah.
It's like people like to drink before the show. So people are a little more loose. Yeah, a lot of the Asia crowds are like reserved, you know, very respectful, very like, you know, and that's the culture. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, here you go to a concert, you know, and people ask you to sit down.
Yeah,
you know, type of deal.
Yeah.
So what's the future look like when you look into your crystal ball?
Oh yeah. Take my health journey to another level, spiritual and mental. Just take it to the next level because I know what it does for me. I know how things align for me when I'm like focused on this, on the right things. Like, yeah, like having a drink here and there might be like cool. Like I might have a drink here and there, but like that party Jeff, like I can honestly say I think that version of myself has been kind of like long gone for a while, you know. He might come back around here and there, like maybe a special occasion, like someone's wedding or something, but nah, like I do not miss that lifestyle at all. I'm just ready to like be superstar Jeff now, you know, like I'm ready to be like on like my Usher tip, you know, like I want to like, not like superstar, but like I want to like dance, you know, like I was a dancer before I was a singer.
Okay.
Like I did choreography before like I was a singer.
Okay.
I think Filipinos just dance, you know, a lot of Filipinos are just born dancers. And I think this next body of work, I want to focus on being able to do like choreography when I dance, you know, just to like show the world like, oh, he's not just that like chill like singer, you know. It's like, no, I want to show people like I'm like I can do this, you know, like I can do choreography when I dance, you know.
Like so that.
That's my next goal. But I feel like to be able to get there, I got to take my physical like I got to take my workouts to the next level. I got to train harder, eat cleaner. Yeah, but I'm ready for all that. I'm excited for that, you know. So yeah.
Do you do any fasting at all?
Here and there. I need to do it more.
Yeah.
But I do, you know, intermittent fasting.
Yeah.
But I fall off with that sometimes, but I need to do that more.
Dude, if I could share with you like the benefits of prolonged fasting, like 3 days.
Oh man.
But I tell you, once you do it,
I hear
you won't go back. You'll be like, you know what? I need to do this like on a monthly tip.
I hear.
Because you're really just like cleaning old cells, getting rid of old cells. You know, you're going through they call autophagy.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful practice.
Yeah.
It's tough in the beginning. But
no, I have some friends in LA that are actually like on that. They do that. Yeah. You know, one is a personal trainer and one is like a rapper / actor now. And they do that like maybe every quarter.
Yeah.
And they love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they love it.
Yeah, try to get on it for a bit.
I probably could do that, but I don't know if I could do like the dark retreat, bro, that you were talking about.
You can. You can. That's the next
dark retreat, huh? Like 7 days, huh?
9 days.
9 days of just darkness.
Darkness and silence.
Can I ask you like
yourself?
What do you remember from that? Like what do you remember feeling from that?
Oh, there's so many layers.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, thanks for asking, but there's so many layers there. There was like, I like to call it cruel grace. Because it was very cruel, but it was also, there was a lot of grace there.
Yeah.
You know, by the end of it. But you know, you're doing a few things as you're going through that, right? You're doing shadow work, you're doing deep work, you're letting your organs heal. And you are seeing the very worst of you without interruption. And you're also seeing the very best of you without interruption. And all of these worlds are trying to fight with each other
Yeah.
to get your attention.
Yeah.
But by the end of it, you really start to kind of sift, what's real. And at the end of it, what bubbles up is a lot of love, a lot of self-love.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful practice. I would recommend it to anyone. I think nowadays you're seeing a lot of people doing like darkness retreats for 3 days, 4 days.
Yeah.
This was a little bit deeper for 9 days.
Yeah.
I think you need a bit more than 3 days.
Yeah.
I think 4 or 5 days minimum.
So can you tell me what the day is like? Like, what is a day like in a darkness retreat? Like, how can you see your food?
You can't.
Really?
Yeah, you just feel it.
Oh my God.
But once you taste it, it's like, oh, this is the best pineapple I've ever had.
Yeah.
Or this
it like heightens the senses.
Yeah.
The senses.
Yeah, it's really good. But no, you're just eating in the dark. You're feeling, you get the food handed to you.
Yeah.
And it's incredible. I mean, so many things are taking place, right? Because, we can talk about also what happens with your melatonin, as we spoke about in KL. And, you go into a vision state.
Mm-hmm.
And
did you start to hallucinate?
I don't like the word hallucinate, actually.
Okay.
Because hallucinate makes me feel like I don't have control. Right?
Mhm.
But I did have visions.
Yeah.
Right? So,
But you were still in control.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was at one point with my grandmother,
Wow.
Wow. And I mean, this is going to be a small story, but I was taken up through this spiral. And then at the end of this long corridor was my grandmother. She came walking towards me. And there was all these books. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. And she's like, this is great, right? She's like, all of these books, you can learn anything you want.
Yeah.
Anything you want.
Yeah.
And she, and I said, oh, what are these books? And she's like, oh, that's your life. And I pulled one out and it was empty. And I was like, but it's empty. And she's like, yeah, because you haven't written it yet. And it was like,
yeah.
and then that took me in from there, it took me into this room with her and my father. And I have a unfortunate history with my father. And my father passed away 6 months after I moved to Singapore. And he was just in the room trying to speak to me, but he couldn't speak. So he was trying to tell me something, but he couldn't because his lips were like sealed shut.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's things like that happen, and I'm just kind of giving you the surface of it.
Yeah.
But I believe it's a practice that we will see more and more in the future.
Yeah.
As synchronicity kind of, syncs up with everyone. Like today you see everybody like doing ice baths and, doing sauna and doing meditation or doing these things, right? Because everybody's catching up.
Yeah.
Right? The world, the information and
Yep.
So I think it's only a matter of time until we start to practice this.
Yeah.
It's not a new practice. It's, tens of thousands of years old. And so, but I would recommend it for anyone and everyone. I think that people who say, I can't do that, or I wouldn't be able to do that, I think they're cutting themselves short. And they're listening to another voice that they shouldn't be listening to.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I mean, we're all these forms of energy, right? And this energy needs to rest, right?
Yeah.
And it needs to be taken somewhere else. Because when we transition out of this life, we're going to be taken out of this, right? To somewhere else.
Yeah.
So why not try to tap into that before we actually leave this earth, right?
That's real. Yeah.
And that's what I was trying to tap into. And that's what I'm hoping that I can do every year.
Yeah.
Right. So maybe 1 year we.
Ooh, that might have to be something.
That'd be a great trip.
Yeah.
Jordan's
thinking about it too. He's like, oh damn, I might have to do that too.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. But no, I mean, so I guess in short, what is where do you go from this year, and what are the plans that you have with the message you want to tell? You have so many, there's just so many splinters here, right?
Yeah.
With what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because there is the Jeff that your fans know.
Yeah.
There is the Jeff that your fans are getting to know. right? And there's still the Jeff that you're working on, that not only your fans, your family, your friends will see over the course of time.
Yeah.
But maybe if you could nutshell that into, what would you hope that the present future looks like for you personally, professionally, in your music?
Yeah. Being on this journey right now, I'm learning to like not make everything about my career. Like, I don't want to live my life fully based on like my career, because like after I'm done with tour, I want to spend time with my family. Like, I want to spend time with my parents because I know they're getting older now. I want to be able to like take them on a cruise and spend some time with them. I think where I am right now is just, I just want to like learn to balance. I really want to learn to balance, because I can go really hard with my career, but then forget like I need to make time for like my nieces. My nieces, my godson, my goddaughter. I want to be better at balancing things. I think this is the year that I'm going to do it. But definitely like 75% career.
Yeah.
And just not 100%,
Yeah.
Because I think there is really, I don't want to say there's a window with my career, but I think this is like kind of my peak years. The next like 4 years is it's like my prime, I feel, and I just need to like go in. So
agreed.
So we shall see. Whatever. To be continued. Maybe the next interview that we do years from now, I'll be on another level.
It'll be in Sri Lanka. On a retreat.
Oh, for sure. I'd be so down. Man. I just want to keep just want to get better. Just want to keep getting better, man.
Don't we all, right? At least we all should.
For sure.
On that, I mean, could you share something with those who look to you, for inspiration, those who look to you for motivation, or those who are just, followers and a fan of what you do? What nuggets could you leave them with, at this kind of season of your life, that you can impart, some wisdom?
A really important thing that I've learned is to, you have to learn to like have boundaries and say no to things, I think I'd be surrounded by people that would always nudge me to do things, and I'd be like, okay, but like ever since I learned how to have boundaries and say no, like, and be better at that and not really care what people are gonna think, like, well, that's kind of messed up, like, you don't want to do that.
What are you saying no to right now? And like, other than not, than the boundaries that you've set with alcohol or other things, like, what else are you not saying no to?
I think just people wasting my time, man. To be honest.
Thanks for not saying no to this interview.
No. This is definitely not a waste of time. This is, if anything, this is like elevating who I am. Like, being able to talk about things like that, being able to listen to you talk about this, like, to share your energy. Like, this is what I have time for. Like, I don't have time for everything else that doesn't add value to my life right now. People wanting me to throw parties at my house that constantly bug me to throw parties at my house, because my house used to be the party house. To throw the most epic backyard parties. But then like, I'm over here spending thousands of dollars just to like buy bottles and make that happen. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that no more. This is when I say no, and I've just been finding things that just make me happy now. Like, I learned to play golf. I golf a lot now. I've met like people through golf.
Malbon gear.
I know. I've been able to be around that community. It's been fun, man. It's been like, I feel like the golf has taught me like a lot of lessons in life as well. It's very frustrating. You come into it not being good, and you have to work your way up, and it's a lifelong game. There's a lot of lessons with life. Like, you have good shots, you have bad shots. But like, the most important thing is like, you got to keep going. Like, you just have to keep trying. You're gonna have a good day and you're gonna have a bad day. Man, just more balance for me, for sure. Finding happiness in things, and
Well, you look good. You know, you sound good.
Thank you, man.
Carry a lot of positive energy around.
Thank you, man. It's great to, I'm happy to, like, people can feel that from me now, you know? I'm happy, like, people can feel that energy, you know? And I want to be authentic, like you said. I don't want people to think, like, oh, this is just, like, a facade Jeff is, like, having. No, it's like, nah, like, there's a reason why I'm being sober. It's because I need to be, like, I need to be who I'm meant to be, you know? Like, and I don't want no blockages. So, yeah. I appreciate it, man.
Well, with that, we're in Singapore. What's the message tonight?
Tonight?
Yeah.
I just got to feel it from the crowd. We'll see.
Yeah.
It's just, it'll come out. It'll come out. I'm excited, man. Thank you for having us, bro. I'm sure I could speak on behalf of the crew, the hospitality that you've given to me, and bro, like, I don't say this lightly, but you are a very big blessing to this tour. This, like, I'm so happy we were put in your hotel. We met you. Everything aligned.
I wish you guys were here for a week.
I know, man, but hey, I think the biggest...
we have to go have some crab.
Yeah, for sure, tomorrow. For sure. But I think the biggest blessing out of all of this is, like, we gained, like, a friend and a brother out of you now, where it's like, I'm sure, like, you know, I'm sure Jay can agree, Jordan, everyone can agree. We have a brother in Singapore now that we like, you know.
100%.
And when you're in LA, like, we got you too, you know. So
thank you.
Yeah, man, these are the things in life that, like, aside from shows and tour, these are the important things as well, you know. So it's been an honor and a blessing, brother.
Yeah.
All love.
I'm excited. I'm excited about tonight. I'm excited about, you know, what you and the boys are gonna put together for everyone.
For sure. It's gonna be fun, man.
I'm grateful that we had this little chat.
Same, bro.
You know, and so hopefully we keep it going.
Yes, definitely.
You know, grow together, or at least witness each other growing through time.
Yep.
Right?
For sure, bro. For sure. Cheers, man.
Salud.
Cheers. This tea, you know, we're wholesome out here. Appreciate you, bro.
Cheers.
Thank you.